I'm definitely a radical conspiracy theorist.
Yes, me too.
I'm just kidding.
Well,
And we're coming in. You ready?
Yes.
All right. All right, is this thing on? Okay. And here we are at Club Dub. Oh, someone's putting their headphones on. We're at Club Dub Studio. And in beautiful Dublin, California, at an undisclosed location. And I am the host of the...
Undisclosed location.
This is a date with Destinee.
Date with...
Yes, and I'm Eric Hansen of Eric Hansen Music. I dabble in music, art, political punditry, and as some of you might have noticed, I'm also doing a podcast. And Destinee is here with us. It wouldn't be a date without Destinee, and she's going to introduce herself now before I hyperventilate all over the microphone and spill my coffee.
She's doing her makeup.
I am doing my makeup. Buongiorno. My name is Destinee. I go by Des. I'm a bartender, a crazy cat lady. I got 2 cats. I used to have 4 cats. I had to downsize. What else? I am starting
cats?
my own candle business. You don't want to know. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going to check the freezer in the garage.
Yeah.
I'm starting my own candle business, and actually just kind of got more started on that this last week. What else? I sing, learning to play piano, doing some stuff, doing a podcast.
The cats were adopted by coyotes.
And, yeah, they were adopted by coyotes. I think the coyotes would eat the cats. But, yeah, that's enough about me.
Yes, and she's also a candidate for Congress.
Oh, right. Okay, not this year. I'm not doing Congress this year because, unfortunately, I missed the deadline. I'll get into that on another time. But in 2024, I will be taking another battle at running, possibly against Eric Swalwell if I am still in California, if he wins this year, which he might. But yeah, in 2024, I'll definitely be running again.
Excellent. And we're here with a second-time visit from the famous Tony Guerra of McFunky fame, and he's going to reintroduce himself. Or will he?
Since I'm not, let me just put on my sexy voice here. Can't get enough of your love, baby. No. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Destinee. Destinee's still putting on her makeup.
I'm done.
And she looks
lovely.
Fabulous.
Lovely. Yes.
Fabulous.
I just had to powder my nose a little bit.
Anyway, well, shall we talk about the 15th?
Yes, let's talk about the 15th. We're actually here to do some shameless promotion of a coming event. And
Shameless promotion, yes.
Shame-o.
We are promoting a concert, McFunky, at Las Positas Vineyards in Livermore Valley, Friday night, July 15th, 5:30 to 7:30. And it'll be Eric Hansen's birthday that night, ladies and gentlemen. And I believe he's going to be doing a live broadcast that night, possibly.
We're going to have all kinds of fun. And I may take to the stage and participate in some of the event. I'll be the emceeing to introduce the incredible McFunky. So I'm being put to work a little bit on my birthday. But it's also a very auspicious birthday because it puts me to the halfway mark to 116. So I'll also be shortly after planning my midlife crisis. And but we're going to have great fun. And this is actually your call to action to RSVP in the comments.
I'll be there.
Yes.
Yes,
I will be there on the 15th.
Yes, indeed. This is going to actually be a concert, and it's going to be quite different than what anything has ever happened at Livermore Valley. And it'll be a concert with a couple guys who have played with a bunch of very famous people at one time. And now we're doing our own thing on a smaller scale, but yet the same quality, I believe. Really high-level music. And
absolutely. And
April 15th.
You're going to name some names, too. Tell us some of the bands that you had performed and traveled with.
Well, it's very interesting because Clint just told me the other day something I've never heard him. Clint's McFunky, the guitar player in the band. And he's actually played with Paula Abdul and Christina Aguilera.
What? That's very cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah, when he was, this was like during the beginning of their careers, of course. He had a good friend in him, and he was the drummer, and Clint was the guitar player up there in Portland, Oregon, and he toured with Paula Abdul.
That is crazy.
Yeah. We're gonna have to have Clint on the show.
This is the kind of musicians that are going to be at Las Positas on July 15th.
And Clint, I think, also mentioned that. Did he have some like sound engineering experience where he was involved with the tubes at some point, or am I mixing up?
Yeah, well, he actually had an involvement with doing some of the rough vocals for Toto, and for
that's awesome.
And for who's that band? Who's the band that does Sister Christian? Who is that group?
Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank.
Sister Christian, oh, the time has come. Night Ranger.
You got it before I could.
He did a few gigs with Night Ranger too. Clint did, and myself personally had the honor of doing gigs with Diana Ross and Shaka Khan and
Shaka Khan,
people like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, America and. So you traveled. You went to Australia with a band, right? That was
America.
Outstanding. So he brought a little bit of America to Australia.
Which needs to be done now.
Oh, my goodness.
To those limeys over there.
Yep.
Are there any tales that shouldn't be told that you have to tell us today?
Oh yeah, because we did.
On your mind.
We introduced a new segment in our prior endeavors with Tony, and. That was a little segment that I guess we could save towards the edge, but it was towards the edge is one way to describe it, but towards the end. But that is the tales that shouldn't be told.
Tales that shouldn't be told.
Dun,
yes.
Dun, dun. We got to get like a little.
Go ahead, Destinee. Give us tales that shouldn't be told. Go ahead.
Me? I could give us a tale that shouldn't be told. I gotta think.
Oh no, he meant the intro, but no, I'm sure.
The intro. Do an intro.
See,
you do it.
Okay, let's do it again. Hold on.
Okay, here we go.
Tales that shouldn't be told. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. That's our new intro.
Oh yes, I don't talk about these things very often because simply because of the fact that I just simply don't talk about them. But all of the things that you hear about rock stars, all of the stories that you hear about rock stars are absolutely true. Their lifestyles are not like normal people. They don't eat normally. They don't sleep normally. They're
not normal.
They don't make love normally. They make so much money that they don't know what to do with it all. It's not uncommon for somebody, let's say like Diana Ross, to go into a Tokyo store and spend $1 million.
Oh my gosh. That's an outrageous amount.
That's
of
some
money.
shopping. Winona Ryder would have saved quite a bit on her.
And recording artists recording musicians like Michael Jackson have done the same. Have spent $1 million at Rodeo Drive there in Beverly Hills or wherever he's, New York City.
That's a lot of money.
Well, with the inflation, that'll be our standard spending habit for all of us in about 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
get a loaf of bread.
$1 million for a loaf of bread. That's a steal.
And you have to remember too, this was back in the days when music celebrities did not have bodyguards.
Oh, true, huh?
Right? There were no such thing as bodyguards when
they just went to the grocery store.
Yeah, I don't know if you see, but every time you see a Kardashian, they've got this massive ex-SEAL bodyguard that's standing behind them.
Yeah.
Ready to rip somebody's throat out if they mess with their client.
Oh yeah.
Well, let me give you, I'll give you a little bit of a peek behind the scenes. When we were in Australia, Dewey Burnell and Rusty Buckley, I hope they don't hear this broadcast, but Dewey Burnell and Rusty Buckley are they like to go to strip clubs, basically. Everybody looks at them and they say, "God, I want my daughter to marry these men."
Oh, God.
Well, you don't want your daughter to marry these men. You don't want them to. They have beautiful voices and beautiful songs, but, that's it. So, of course, when you go to, you're in Australia or New Zealand and you go to these strip clubs, they're celebrities, and so everybody in the place is looking at them and looking at you as well, right? Because when like say you're a bass player and you're hanging out with Rusty Buckley and Dewey Burnell from America, it's like you're a celebrity, right? So with some of these beautiful, unbelievably beautiful Australian women, if they can't get the attention of the stars, guess what happens? It trickles down.
Oh, no.
Down the ladder.
Oh, no.
Down the ladder. And I had an opportunity to go out on a couple of really, really nice dates with some extremely beautiful women who were, I think one of them was actually married. And no telling what Rusty and Dewey did, because they were both married. One of them's been married almost 40 years. But that doesn't really mean... that really doesn't mean anything when you're a rock star, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, there are some perks and privileges that go with the, and due to in Eastern culture, it's kind of more standard to resolve these differences with plurality, where basically it's like, well, why don't settle for one? There's that ongoing internal debate between bigamy and bigamy. Do you want to settle for like one really big wife or two smaller ones? And so these kind of things in Eastern culture and in the history of Western culture were resolved by simply like, oh, well, I'll marry that one too. And so these days, the only real outlet for, somebody that's basically as well known as a rock star is to potentially do less formal relations as to what's that word for the spice of life? It was actually on Jeopardy, a Jeopardy question. Variety. Oh yes, and so there's that whole concept.
What's it called?
There's no
double jeopardy.
Oh yes, and I'm putting myself in great jeopardy by even speaking these concepts publicly. But no, just kidding. But what the hell? I'm all tangled up here. So ultimately, the manner in which by which that is all resolved was done kind of. Is more often done kind of behind the scenes and, with like a side dish. And again, the spice of life, there's an old profound saying by a very wise man once said, and that is that there is no great beauty that compares or competes with good old-fashioned variety.
That would be a really, really accurate description. When you're famous, like they were, and other individuals like Seals and Crofts and Dan Fogelberg and people like that, it's just like people look at you like they want to grab you. They just want to be near you. You know what I'm saying? And not necessarily to take pictures. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, even with the other musicians, here I am. I was just a bass player, and it was like you walk into a place and you're just like you're with a celebrity, and all of a sudden you're a celebrity, and next thing you know, you have 6, 8, 10, 14 women just it was weird because you're like the magnet and they're steel. And as the night gets on, they get closer and closer and closer and closer to the next thing you know, you look to the right and there's 3 or 4 women this way. You look to the left and there's 3 or 4 women this way. The truth of the matter is when you're a rock star, the 2 things that play big in the mix are number 1, the music, and number 2, the women.
Outstanding. With that, we're going to take a very brief break, and then we will be right back in very shortly on a date with Destinee. Can't see a goddamn thing.
John Kruger. Who is John Kruger?
John Kruger. Well, his name is John Kruger Mellencamp now. Now it's John Mellencamp.
How does he change his name up so many times?
He changed his name to Mellencamp because his mother asked him to. He says, "Son, why are you not calling yourself Mellencamp?" He said, "Well, Mom, the record company had me. Do you?"
So his mom's getting involved in his branding. His mom's getting involved in his branding.
Yeah.
That's who John Cougar is.
And we're back in with a date with Destinee.
Destinee.
That damn California air just dried up the damn glass. Before I could even get my lips to it.
That would wanna be my wife.
McFunky, ladies and gentlemen.
McFunky, funky, funky.
Funky. That's my bone, lady. Hi. July 15th, everybody. Eric Hansen's birthday. Las Positas Vineyards.
RSVP in the comments.
We're going to get Eric a cake.
With a girl in it.
Something with the girl in it.
With the girl.
Might be Destinee in there.
I want to be in a cake.
That damn California air just dried up the damn glass.
Only
So
made of
that's
cardboard.
that's the that's a little sample of the sweet sounds that will be filling the air at the exceptional Las Positas Winery, July 15th.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And McFunky has, he's in addition to taking America and Australia, he's been with Seals and Croft. And what are some of the other bands that you had mentioned? Eddie Money and
Diana Ross, Christina Aguilera.
Excellent.
Backup musicians, you ever see videos and you see concerts and you see the star that's up on the front, right?
Yeah.
And then you see all of the people in the background.
Yeah.
That was
That's where you were.
us. We were called what they call the back line.
The back line.
The back line. McFunky was the what they call the second line, which is the guitar players, piano players, and then I was in what they call the back line, which is the drummer, the percussionist, and the bass player.
Okay.
They're all the way in the back, unless you're a singer. Tales that shouldn't be told.
Tales that shouldn't be.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let's do that right. Okay. And you didn't like this one, right?
I don't like that.
Okay, here we go. Back to NPR, people.
Tales that shouldn't be told.
And there we have it. Yeah, so there are a lot of things that never should be spoken about the music business. Things that are happening in Vegas that theoretically are supposed to stay in Vegas.
Theoretically.
But we do bend some of those protocols to bring you the entertainment and the information that you deserve to make your own life decisions.
Yes.
Only at Club Dub.
Yes, at Club Dub Studio. So now, we were talking a little bit about all the temptation that surrounds whether you're the main headlining star or you're just basically in the mix of stars, you're surrounded by temptation.
Yes, in many different ways. The truth of the matter is being a rock star can be dangerous. Mm-hmm. It can be very dangerous. you're brushing shoulders with a lot of really shady, dangerous people. I remember one time we were in, where is that? In Indiana, where John Cougar Mellencamp was. We were doing a concert, not with John Cougar, but we were opening up for him. I can't remember what the act was. And a bunch of people showed up with a delivery in a box, and put the box inside one of the dressing rooms that happened to be the dressing room that we were in. And they just set this box up on the shelf up on top, and that happened to be the not the right dressing room. I'm thinking, because later on that evening, rock stars, they always have their clothes washed and pressed before they do a show, right? And so do the backup musicians. Mm-hmm. Everybody has their clothes pressed, their shoes shined, and their makeup done and all of that stuff before a show. So we were looking for our clothes because we couldn't find them. They weren't in anywhere. And then we looked inside this closet where this box was, and there was our clothes. Somebody had laundered them very nicely and everything. I think this was in Gary, Indiana, I believe. And so we decided to get a little bit nosy before the gig and look inside that box. And lo and behold, inside that box was a ball of cocaine the size of a basketball.
Oh, my God.
That's a party right there.
It's party time.
It was about 8 inches wide by 10 inches wide. And we, I'll tell you exactly what we did. We left. We told the manager what we just saw in the room, and he said, pack up all of your stuff. We are leaving.
What? Really? Why?
And the opening act for John Cougar disappeared from the auditorium.
Why?
Disappeared from the auditorium. And then about 2 days later, we had heard that the individual that delivered that package was arrested, had been arrested.
Wow.
Or let's say she had been arrested. And when we found out all about that, we actually knew the girl. We actually knew her. Because we were at a Phil Collins concert one time, and she was sitting right next to us. I mean, we looked this way at the concert, and there was Paul McCartney and Dionne Warwick, and then we looked this way, and there was Mike and the Mechanics, and and Elton John this way, and right next to us was this
lady
girl, who happened to be trying to do somebody a favor. I'm not saying that was necessarily going to John Cougar's band, but it certainly was going to someone.
So what's the code for that? Do you order your laundry with extra starch, or?
We get some starchy laundry.
You know what? Let me tell you something. I doubt very seriously if rock stars even wipe their own butts. Okay, I'm not joking. Right? I think if rock stars wanted to, they could sit back in a chair and just open their mouth, and someone would drop grapes inside.
That's that's incredible.
And there would be somebody beautiful like Destinee.
I would not
dropping grapes inside this superstar's mouth.
Have fun. I'm not dropping grapes in anyone's mouth.
Okay.
But yeah.
What if he was going to donate $80,000 to your campaign?
Shit. How many times do I have to drop grapes?
You're going to drop some grapes, woman.
Go and drop some grapes. Okay, maybe a couple for 80 grand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
But now you've set the precedent. Now it has to be 80 grand.
Yes, that's just a matter of taking a reasonably lucrative job, and frankly, dropping grapes in the mouth is much less degrading than most work that most of us are doing on a daily basis.
True.
When we were on tour, we were on tour with Freddie Fender. I don't know if you know who Freddie Fender is.
I looked it up last time.
Yeah. We were on tour in Branson, Missouri, I believe it was, or Las Vegas. Las Vegas, and I was the goody two-shoes in the band. I never did any drugs. I never did any drinking. So everybody else in the band did drugs and drank. So they thought that they would try and, mess with me. So one night we did a show, and it was about 3 a.m. in the morning. And there was nobody in the casino. And just hundreds and hundreds of slot machines that are open. And I'm sitting down to play a slot machine, and the next thing I know, I look over, and there's a woman sitting to the right of me and a woman sitting to the left of me.
Okay.
Now, here I am thinking to myself,
out of all the
there's a lot of seats that these women could be sitting in, besides the ones right next to me. What they were was they were prostitutes that the manager had hired to tempt me.
Outstanding.
Were they pretty?
They were beautiful.
Oh, really?
One was black and one was white. And I have to admit, I will admit to you that I've had fantasies of dating black women, and so
that was a temptation.
That was a tale that wasn't told.
That's funny.
Hit the button there.
A tale of the temptations.
Yes, a tale of temptation, and being the goody two shoes. Then, especially a recording artist by the name of Paul Davis. He was very famous in the 80s. He had heart problems, and he had all kinds of health issues, and he didn't pay any attention to it. We'd go out to a smorgasbord, and he would eat.
Smorgasbord?
Like a all-you-can-eat kind of place. And he would order like 3 steaks.
How does someone eat 3 steaks?
He would eat 3 steaks. I mean, that's a colon blocker like nobody's business.
Was he fat?
And then he would get up on stage, and he'd be playing music up on stage. He'd be playing. You've heard some of his songs, of course, like "I Go Crazy, I Go Crazy. When I look in your eyes, I still go crazy.
Oh, I've heard that song.
My heart just can't hide that old feeling inside." And he'd be playing his piano. And he loved sauerkraut, too. He'd eat a lot of sauerkraut. And he'd be playing away, and all of a sudden it'd be like this. right in the middle of a concert. And here you're trying to play, and all of a sudden is the star that you...
Did the microphone ever pick it up?
It had to have picked it up.
That is like Swalwell level of...
It had to have picked it up. And here you are, you're on stage with this famous guy, just had a #1 record, and the dude is farting because he ate too much sauerkraut that evening. You know what I'm saying?
That's so funny.
It's so funny.
That's hilarious. Oh, man. Maybe the microphone didn't pick it up and you only heard it.
We were just like...
You'd be busting up laughing.
When you're watching recording artists on stage and you're watching them play, there is so much happening on that stage that a lot of people miss.
Yeah.
Like the star coming on stage and their zipper is open, or their zipper is open, or their they forgot to button their pants, and their pants are starting
their shoelaces untied,
or something, and people run over to them, or they start playing, and the very first note they play, one of the guitar strings breaks, and
oh no,
and right in an intro, right, very first song, a lot of crazy stuff.
I wonder if Harry Styles ever farts while he's performing.
Who does?
Harry Styles.
Does he fart?
Yeah, does he fart while he's performing? I wonder.
He doesn't.
No?
No. He's
not
way too
pretty.
way too good looking and sexy for that kind of stuff.
True.
The more
true.
Destinee, the more sexy you are,
the less you
the
fart.
less you fart.
Yeah.
It's
so scientific.
The evidence is
Except for this guy.
uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election.
Dare you?
Is
Oh
that
my
real?
God. Yes.
Is
it's
that real?
That was Swalwell
It was
on
so
live
loud.
television. And so, a lot of these kind of beta type politicians are a little bit leaning heavily into the vegan diet. And, so their entire source
A lot of
protein
broccoli, man. A lot of cauliflower.
and a lot of beans. Yeah.
Wife must
so.
be a terrible cook. No,
lot
I'm
of
just kidding.
cauliflower.
So he was in
talking shit about
that famous moment. He was acting locally on global warming.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and he was global warming with his bovine gas coming out of his colon.
The real source of the
These stupid leftists. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, what's funny is one of my regulars, his name's Eric. He comes into the bar a couple times a week.
I like him already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he lives right next to us.
Excellent.
Yeah. He used to be friends with Eric Swalwell. And he voted for him at first. And then once he started realizing that he was a scumbag piece of shite, he was like, what the hell, man? You told me you were going to do all this stuff and you just totally flipped. You switched it up on me. And he hates him now.
And in fact, I met him also
Yeah.
at two different occasions. Once I was approaching the Dublin City Council on a parking issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the man at that time seemed very savvy, but he was very attentive. So nothing that I requested got anything done about it, but he really put on a show. I mean, he was it appeared inquisitive.
Obama level.
And yeah, but at that point, he hadn't really come out of his shell yet. And then later I met him at this San Ramon rally that was mostly high school kids and stuff like that. And I walked up to him and go, yeah, I remember you from that. He go, oh, yeah, I remember you. So I go, you know what? You're an extremely smooth talker. I go, I'm kind of diametrically opposed to you on all political matters. But, you have a way of, crafting a phrase. So I kind of gave him this left-handed compliment, took a picture, which might appear on your screen if you're looking at us on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
And, but that's still before when he first ran, he never even mentioned the word Democrat. I mean, he was basically just, I'm going to run for Congress. And I'm like, so where are you on these issues? And it was there was just basically he was very guarded, but boy, did he blossom into what he has made himself known to be.
Yeah, I can't
Well,
even think of
rock stars, they've got one style, and that is over the top. Everything is over the top.
especially their farts.
Before you do a gig, you walk into this room, and in this room, there's a table that's about 50 feet long. And there's every kind of food you can imagine
They're living like kings.
on that table.
Even bacon.
Even bacon?
Liver.
Ew.
I think one of the stars, it was Dan Seals, I believe, from England, Dan and Jard Foley. He loved liver, and they have to do some things like let's say Dan Fogelberg. He would have a bagel and cream cheese before a gig.
A bagel and cream cheese.
Oh, we do happen to have some of that. So if that's any form of a hint, I can get your bagel cream cheese up for you. Meanwhile,
You do?
Yes, I do. I can get you handled on that. But meanwhile, I'm going to enjoy a little piece of bacon to.
On the more serious side, though, okay, a lot of the musicians that I've played are dead, and I'm alive. And the reason I'm alive is because I chose not to live like they do. They were rich, they were
Very
wealthy in that time, but they died in their 50s. They died in their early 50s. Cancer, heart attacks.
Drugs.
Just too much living. You know what I'm saying? Too much living. You got to have some kind of control. But music has, I don't know if you realize this, but music has no control in it. It can be monstrously scary good. You know what I'm saying? It can turn you on like nothing. Have you ever heard a song that just turned you on? Or a voice?
Are you leading up to some Barry White?
I've definitely had music like when it comes on gives me goosebumps, or like all of a sudden like you'll just feel chills like down your entire spine.
You know that song by Phil Collins, you know I love you, but I can't make it. Mm-hmm. You know, if you listen to the lyrics of that song, that sucker will make you cry.
Yep.
You'll just start crying when you hear those lyrics. Here's Phil Collins, a man that went through a terrible divorce about 15 years ago with a woman that he was totally in love with because he was touring way too much and putting music before her, and then he writes this song, and you're just like, you know I love you, but I just can't take this. You know I need you, but I'm in too deep. You know, and it's like music can just rip your heart out, or it can just make you soar into heaven. You know, literally soar into heaven. Mm-hmm. You know. That's the power of music.
I used to I had my room set up with, first I used Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, the bells at the beginning of the alarm clocks.
Yeah.
I set it on a timer with my brother's high-end top-of-line CTF 1000 cassette deck, and then set up with the HPM 500 speakers in there. And so I'd wake up to that sound so that I began my day with music, but I also ended it with kind of a lullaby by another Pink Floyd album. I do like Comfortably Numb playing, you know, as my means of going to sleep. Oh, I have become.
Yeah.
So it was, music is profound. It influences, it moves. And I also, if I may, I had just recently finished a new master of the Floating song, which is soon to release. Mm. And I thought I might solicit some opinions. Does everyone in the audience agree with that idea?
Yeah. You've had I think you've had a couple songs that had a little bit of social media following.
Yeah, so we'll try that out just to see what y'all think of it. You guys okay with that, right? Okay, here we go.
You may not. Musical critique from Destinee.
Basking in the warmth, I can almost feel that touch from when we used to be such happy days. We never needed to pretend.
You'd make it big in India.
We could never picture such an end.
That's fine.
Too bad you can't get your music to some like India or over there in that area.
The bombs are dropping all around. The screaming of the millions has been drowned. The cops all in their masks will make their rounds. But I found my peace up here on this mound. I'm floating, taking in the sun, trying to have some fun. No more worrying.
Is that a trumpet?
Such blue
Is that a
I
skies.
think
trumpet?
that too.
Yeah.
I can see them through the smoke. The burning embers I won't stoke. No escape will I devise.
Excellent.
Bombs are dropping
Really different.
all around.
I definitely like the melody.
The screaming of the millions has been drowned.
Oh no.
The cops all in their masks will make their rounds. But I found my peace up here on this mound.
It'd be really good for belly dancing. Take it, Justin. Is that a guitar?
I'm floating, basking in the warmth. I can almost feel that touch from when we used to be. Such happy days, we never needed to pretend. We could never picture such an end as where we are today.
Yeah.
I'm floating.
Oh, I like the end.
Yeah, so it kind of wraps it. But what I attempted to do was to accomplish what no other artist had ever attempted, and that was to put the Zen in Armageddon, because people are stressing. There's like all this horrible news. It's not only just depressing, but it's torture to even turn on the news.
Yeah.
So there's a concept of news fasting where some people will manage their intake a little bit. Some do it subconsciously, and some do it more intentionally. And I've found myself doing some of that. But I figured that once you master the Zen in Armageddon, that basically you can ride out any storm. And kind of the way things are going in the world, that seemed to me like a good thing to pursue. And maybe that might convey that idea to others.
Yeah.
Yes.
That they can just find a way to chill while the bombs drop.
Give
They
some
can just
people
find
some,
a way to chill.
just give some people some hope, That's what, how kind of I view myself at this period of my life? At this period in my life, I'm not playing with any big stars anymore. I'm not traveling the world anymore. But I think I'm having more fun. Well, no, I take that back. I had more fun then. but I'm still having fun because I'm believing that what I am doing is like medicine to people. That song by Billy Joel that says, well, I know that it's me they've been coming to see, to forget about life for a while.
Yes.
And that's how I feel. I feel like that little 2.5, 3 hour period of time, like last night when we played last night, those people come in there and they're just forgetting about life just for a while.
They're just coming in to kind of chill and relax and have a good time.
Yeah, and they just forget. They forget about all the taxes they owe and, and about the test results they just got back from the radiologist and, just to forget about life for a while.
Yeah.
That is an excellent, that song's fantastic example of exactly that. And basically the human condition and needing a little break from all the friggin' ongoing excitement that's not always of the favorable kind.
Because as you all well know, all of us here at this table, no matter what happens outside these walls, we gotta keep living.
Yeah.
We gotta keep going. We got to keep calling mom. We got to put gas in our. We got to keep going.
Especially
Did you say put gas in the car?
Yeah.
'Cause last time I tried that, it was an extremely expensive endeavor. I went to goddamn Costco, and the first time it passed $100 to like $102. And of course, next week I'm sure it'll be $120.
We gotta. We're survivors. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get it. We're gonna open up our eyes, and your cat's gonna look at you, Destinee, and go, "Meow." Which means you got to put some food out for me.
Exactly.
Right?
No, she's automated that process.
Oh, I have an automatic cat feeder. Feeds them every 4 hours.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
That's
They're
funny.
never hungry.
The last bit of manual love that was expressed to those poor little creatures is now performed by a robot.
It's a robot. Actually, every time I come home, I brush them for like 20 minutes.
Do you?
Yeah, I swear to God, Cairo, she sheds so much hair. Every single time I come home, I just brush her and brush her and brush her, and more hair comes out, and I'm like, does it ever end? Does the fucking hair off this cat ever stop shedding? The answer is no.
No, it is, yeah. Don't do it too much, because one time we, my roommate brushed my cat, and next thing I know, all the hair, she was bald in that spot.
What?
And I don't know why she wasn't paying attention, but she took all the hair off.
What the heck? That's so crazy.
You're going to wind up with a hairless cat.
Yeah,
I do like hairless cats.
I go, what in the world are you
I do like hairless cats.
She was drunk. She was actually drunk when she did. I really got mad. I really got mad at her.
Oh, I would be pissed.
I got mad at her.
Like,
That's what happened to me.
Probably hurting them.
It's like I got mad. Like that time that we found that, that $500,000 ball of crack, I got mad.
You totally could have sold that.
I called the manager and I said, Mr. Wolf, I think we found something bad.
I think we found something bad.
And we got out of town quickly. Out of town.
Yeah, you don't want to be in range when all the stuff lands on that. And I actually heard some interesting stories that are more on a political note, that people might... people that work as accountants in corporations will sometimes come across something that's not supposed to be there, like a dummy payroll account.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so there are two ways to handle that.
Inside the book.
And I have one of my friends, his spouse is in high management, and if she ever discovers something like that, she knows how to handle it. And this is an important lesson for you people in the audience. If you're doing a little accounting and something doesn't look quite right, you hand it up to your boss and say, I found this, and you don't say anything. You just hand it to them, and you quietly go about your other responsibilities. Mm-hmm. I heard of a rumor of, it's somebody that I have enough close connections to know that it's highly plausible. But somebody apparently was working somewhere in Illinois or Chicago, and they were an accountant that found something that didn't quite look right, and they actually decided to look into it.
Oh, no.
This guy, I believe, spent the rest of many days for several years just traveling around with his daughter to avoid what he had determined he had been put on somebody's hit list. I won't name her, but she was a presidential candidate. And but yeah, he actually...
I think I know who we're talking about.
Okay, we won't get any more into that, and we will take a brief break before we, we close out our fine show here. Just a moment. Is that getting too risque?
That's too risque.
I'm going to be getting chased around now.
You're going to be getting chased around. Listen, I need the bacon to not be in front of me.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to keep eating it.
How many have you had?
I've had like bacon. 5 pieces.
You've got salt levels.
I know.
No, the salt is good. The body sheds salt for most people. It's the sugar that's a goddamn problem. Sugar. Oh, let's talk about the keto diet.
Keto.
You want to talk about that a little bit?
What, the keto?
You guys both doing keto?
What is that?
That's where you just cut out sugar altogether.
And carbs?
Meat. You cut out sugar and carbs.
Carbs. It's a great way to lose weight.
Yeah, I'll come back in mentioning we probably should we close out within do a 5-minute closeout, or did you want to add one more tales?
One more.
All right. So then we'll
tales that shouldn't be told.
Maybe 10 minutes more. Does that sound good?
That's fine.
Okay.
That's horseshit.
Fuck a duck. Okay, here we go. Oops. I actually no. Okay.
No.
Keep it. It's a wrap.
And here we are back in with a date with the lovely Destinee.
With the lovely Destinee.
And we're getting all over the map. The thing is, we have such a fine group of spirits, and the thing is, musical people.
There are spirits here?
There's spirits, and if things start levitating in the room, that'll be partly why.
I'll show you my spirit.
and I should also mention that Destinee does serve the community's spiritual needs.
I do. Oh, with spirits.
Yes, with distilled variety. So, but for those that don't figure out where that happens on a nightly basis, you will be joining us July 15 for, what's, of course, mostly my birthday party. No, it's actually primarily a celebration of music with the great McFunky at Las Positas Winery.
Yes, Las Positas.
Yeah.
And there's going to be, I'm going to be there in my birthday suit. No, I will be completely naked under my suit. And we'll be dancing, drinking heavily, and I may even be performing I may be assisting with the performance aspects of the show. So, but before we promised our audience some tales that shouldn't be told, and so we will continue on that vein.
Tokyo, 1999. Diana Ross, without the Supremes.
No Supremes.
A lot of people said that Diana Ross was the first diva. I know for a fact she was the first diva. That woman was so difficult to get along with. She was actually a woman who actually was comfortable with people being bad at her. She was actually comfortable with that kind of scene.
Interesting.
Because it gave her a sense of empowerment, like she felt powerful, because she's not a very big woman, not a very tall woman or physically heavy-set woman. And not, at that time, was not, to me, not as attractive, as she was when she was younger.
Mm-hmm.
But she had an unbelievable elegance about her. We went out to a restaurant in one of the most, like one of the restaurants in New York City where they don't have any prices on the menu.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no prices.
Because people aren't worried about
And
that.
it's indicative of people saying, if you don't have the money, you can't afford to be here, right?
Excellent.
Yes. And she ordered the most expensive thing on the menu, and she asked us all to order the most expensive thing on the menu, which I believe was New England lobster, I believe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And Maine lobster. And so all the musicians in the band, which were about 11 of them, and she picked up the bill, and I happened to ask the maitre d'. Now, this happens on a normal basis, okay? This is a normal basis. The bill was $11,000.
Jesus.
Holy Jesus, that's like buying gas or groceries.
And she pulls out this Chase card. Like that. But she didn't do it. Her assistant pulled it out and put it on. She was just, her hands were just like this. And she looked at the assistant like this. She looked. Oh.
That's so funny.
And I believe that was the time, Destinee, where she left the waiter a $5,500 tip.
Jesus. That's crazy.
Outstanding.
$5,500 tip. And everybody, as we walked out of the restaurant, okay, imagine.
How do I work somewhere like that?
Imagine a restaurant. You'd have to be in New York City, honey.
Okay.
Imagine being in a restaurant where there's 150 people in the restaurant. It's a huge restaurant. And everyone in the room, including the waiters, the maitre d's, the cooks, everyone is looking at us as we are exiting the room. And I'm like looking around going, I'm just a bass player. I'm just a backup vocalist, At that time I wasn't playing bass, I was just a backup vocalist.
Yeah.
I was hired to be a backup vocalist. And which I guess means I could sing some,
Well, I hope so. You're the lead singer of the band now.
If Diana Ross wants me to be in her band, I guess I can sing.
Yeah.
And
wow.
That's it. It's like here's the Queen of England walking out of the place, You know? And as she walks up the front door, she goes like this. She not forward, not waving forward, but backwards. Like the people are back here. And she goes, toodaloo, you know.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my
It was
God. She is a diva. Wow.
This is like
Toodles.
And we got inside a limousine that was about 60 feet long.
Jesus.
It had like 10 wheels on it, you know.
What is that?
Oh, that's for
That's an airplane.
Memorial Day or something? I don't know. Who knows?
Some sort of airplane.
Or just some Russian fighters.
We got into a limousine that was so long we couldn't even see the end of the damn thing.
That's crazy.
And here, and I'll finish with this. It was a custom limousine that was probably designed specifically for people like her.
Yeah.
And we were way up in the front of the limousine. And she was all the way in the back.
Yep.
By herself, away from all the scum.
Oh my God.
Away from all the scum.
That is crazy. Was it pink?
Huh?
Was the limousine pink?
No, it was actually, it was purple.
It was purple.
Yeah, it was
I want a purple limousine.
It was purple.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did she borrow that from Prince?
She probably got the idea from him. Yeah, she probably.
That's great.
Yeah. I wouldn't doubt if she had something to do with promoting his career. I really wouldn't.
I always enjoyed, she always had a very positive, festive, kind of bright kind of presentation, at least in her music.
Who? Diana Ross?
Yeah.
Let me tell you the one thing about Diana Ross that I know that is true. She's completely class. Very high. She was married to a billionaire, I believe, wasn't she?
That's why she had a purple limousine.
At one time in her life, she was married to a billionaire, I believe. Wasn't she?
I don't know.
Some Austrian.
And of course he was Austrian.
Or from Monaco or something. He was a billionaire. I don't know what it is, but she's totally, completely class. And I've always wanted to ask her. I said, "What's it like being famous for 60 years? What's that like?" You know, every time you walk into a restaurant, the food drops out of everybody's mouths. Literally, sometimes people will be eating and they'll go.
Is that Diana Ross?
Is that Diana? Is that Diana? Like this, they go, let's see. Oh, that's Diana Ross. I recognize the guitar player because he's really tall. He's about 6'7", really attractive. He goes, I recognize that's Diana Ross. That's Diana, honey. That's Diana Ross. That's this guitar player. Who's that? Who's that Jewish-looking guy behind her? Oh, that's one of the backup singers. Yeah, forget that.
Oh my gosh, you're
Don't
so
care
funny.
about that guy.
Hey, when you were doing that backup singing, was that before or after you had, because you had a profound moment in your career history that you mentioned on our prior show, where someone had said, you're not that great a player, but, and then the guy that was kind of leading you in the direction of singing?
Yeah, the songwriter for people like Roseanne Cash. And who's that woman that plays the fiddle really well? What's her name? In Central Station, something station.
I know who you're talking about. I don't know her name.
She's a fiddle player. I can't remember.
She goes like really fast.
Yeah, she sings. She's.
I cannot remember her name for the life.
She's like won 8 Grammys or something.
What is her name?
All right, we're gonna have that in the comments.
That was his her
description.
songwriter Rodney Crowell. He goes, "You're not that great of a bass player, actually." He says to me. He said he meant to say I'm not that good of a country bass player.
Yeah.
He said, but he said that right in front of Dwight Yoakam. He said, you're not that great of a bass player. He goes, but you're a great singer.
Excellent. And what could be better than that? I think that's got to be everyone's favorite.
And he said, with the booty like that, you're going to go far, son.
With a booty like what? I only caught the tail end of that joke.
You only got the tail end of that. You're going to go far, my son.
Excellent. And that, I think that unless there's any more disturbing and dark stories of the of tales that shouldn't be told,
the darkness will continue.
Excellent. And if we wind up seeking more assistance in a future podcast, would you entertain joining us for another date with Destinee?
I would love a date with the ravishing Destinee and the ever complex and intriguing Eric Hansen music.
Thank you, man. And again, it was a great honor to have the great Tony Guerra on our show. And again, you have a chance to meet us live in person July 15 at 5:30 at Las Positas Winery, where the great McFunky will be performing their craft with the amazing art and amazing talent. And it's going to be a night of fun, splendor, and fine wine and everything that
we might even have some surprise guests that night.
It'll be in July, so it'll be nice and warm too.
Yeah, I hope they have a cover over that place because it's going to be hot.
It'll be hot as hell.
Excellent. Either way, it's going to be with that kind of music and that kind of excitement. It's going to be, metaphorically speaking, burning it down.
We're going to burn it down.
Excellent.
We're gonna burn the place down.
And thank you again for joining us on the 9th episode of A Date with Destinee. And we'll see you at the next one real soon. Whoa, there we go.
Boom, boom, boom.